We're really not movie stars. You know, we're just like all of you. We love animals. And so we're not anybody famous. We really do love animals. So anyway, thank you all for coming and supporting our mission. It means a lot to us. But does anybody have any questions about the movie, about what we do, or anything?
How do you get them all to get along so well?
We kind of, she asked how we get the dogs to get along so well. I mean, you saw. You know, you saw what we did with Lily, and, you know, we kind of learned from doing this and from Cesar Millan. I mean, you have to be a pack leader. And the minute you do not allow, you know, you don't have a pack leader as a person, then the dogs will take over your life. So, you know, we've just learned very strongly from doing it that, you know, we as humans have to control our pack.
I have two questions. One is, do you have a donation area out in the hallway, in the front area?
We do not.
Oh, come on. Can you make one quickly? And also between you two, who is the pack leader?
Between the two of us, who's the pack leader? We both really are pack leaders, and we teach our. And we, you know, all of our staff has to learn to be pack leaders. I mean, that's something that they have to get educated on. And so, you know, we really work on any new employees and stuff learning to have control of the pack. So that's a real big thing. But, you know, we do not have an adoption fee. We're one of the few rescues that do not. They're all spayed, neutered, they're microchipped, and the microchip stays under Danny and Ron's rescue so that if that dog is ever brought into a shelter, this cell phone rings, and God help him the second time it rings. It's not good. But, you know, we have in our contracts, you can never give the dog away 10 years from now. If, you know, you have health issues, if for some reason you can't keep the dog, we pay and send transport and pick the dog up, and then the dog will come back to our rescue.
Well, I was just going to say something before the next question. People say, well, aren't you sick of seeing your own movie? And the funny part is, no. I mean, the acting's pathetic, but the funny thing is that the emotions come out every time, and we see something different every time. And I think tonight it hit me a little bit harder than other times. I think mainly because I feel like I almost have roots in this area, or we do. And I've known so many of you for so long, and I know what a community this is of loving animals and caring for animals and doing the right thing by them. And this tonight is an eye-opener for me with all the arts and this festival, and that's been an eye-opening for both of us everywhere we've gone, and the compassion that's felt, I think, for each film and the animal lovers particularly. I think it just hits us a lot harder, and because we're so thankful for the support that you're giving us.
I just wanted to say one thing about how blessed we are to have Ron Davis as the director. I mean, he's brilliant. He made us look good. You know, he really is very talented, but we were lucky when we did the media tour in LA and the red carpet. We had lunch with Clay Westervelt, who was the cinematographer. And Danny and I didn't even realize this, but Clay was so clever when he came to film. We were so worried about the dogs barking at the cameramen and, you know, the sound men and stuff. And so we didn't know how that would all work. But Clay was so clever that he laid PVC pipes and tracks all through the entire doghouse. And he had a remote control camera that he could put on the PVC pipes. And when they edited the movie, this is something that Danny and I had probably seen it 4 times and we didn't pick up on it, but when we had lunch with Clay, he explained it to us that when he edited the movie with the editor, he wanted all of the shots of the dogs in the house at dog level. And so that's when he used all of those close-up shots on the track. And then he did the camera on his shoulder when he was outside or when we were filming other places. But, you know, Danny and I are so proud of what, you know, Clay and Ron did for us. I mean, it really, I don't know, I think they created a beautiful story.
I mean, a couple interesting things, because we were totally novice about this whole thing. As I said, when he said, "You're going to be our next documentary," I thought, yeah, bullshit, never mind. But the funny thing was, when they first came to our house and did this, and Clay Westervelt, the cinematographer, or whatever title is, so we first start out, and he's on his knees outside one of the doggy doors, because he said, "I really want to catch them coming in and out of the door like they do." Well, all of a sudden, there's a lick on the camera. He's knocked over. And then 2 run away and shy from him. And this was just a mess. And I looked at him and I said, "I told you this wasn't going to work." But he figured the way. We were never complained about through the whole thing. Well, yes, probably we were. But it was just fantastic because, you know, without us having to worry about it, he figured his own way into that. He even came 5 mornings before 5:30 in the morning just to get the dew on the irises in that flower bed and just the dewdrops. And then most of you won't realize it, but we were in Louisiana after the floods there in some of the scenes. And in that place with the dark door where they just kept pulling him out. And I mean, it was totally legitimate that if we didn't take them, they were going right around the corner to the back of the building and being euthanized at that moment because they just held them that long for us. And yet we got there, and Clay had even the dragonfly on the broken down hurricane fence. He'd even taken that, and it just, I mean, the heartfelt meaning that went into so much of this is what's meant so much to us.
So I have a question about, it was an amazing film, by the way, and I'm just blown away by what your commitment. And I guess my question has to do with that, the fact that what really came home to me was, you know, lots of people, you know, maybe give to a rescue or maybe get a rescue dog, but this is your life, like 24/7. And how do you cope with the lack of, I'm not talking about the animals, but the fact you've got staff in your house, it looks like all the time, like the lack of privacy or just time, you know, time out for just, yeah, the time, not even vacation, just, you know, time for just the 2 of you. I mean, does that happen, or how do you maintain that sense of balance in your relationship?
I mean, luckily, you know, we train horses for a living. So we go to horse shows. So like here we're showing at the Tryon showgrounds. So, you know, that's kind of our time apart, even though we have 5 dogs with us. We do a vacation every year to the island of Aruba, but even there they euthanize 8,000 a year on the small island of Aruba. And so we paired with a bunch of other rescues, and we sent 9 veterinarians there 2 years ago and did 750 spay neuters free on the island.
We have a question from Dr. Ian here.
Yep.
It's not so much a question as it is a comment on the fact that your emotions in demonstrating the loss of the one animal that was on the film, and the beauty that you showed towards that one animal of all the animals that you deal with. I certainly appreciate that emotion, and I think it was a beautiful thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I mean, before we took Lucky in, which, you know, I had asked the film crew to come 2 hours later because we knew we needed to take Lucky that day, And Ron Davis asked why, and I said, oh, we've got to take Lucky to the vets and have him put him to sleep. And he said, no, we want to come with you. But I tried seriously for an hour preparing myself so I wouldn't cry in front of the cameras. But unfortunately, neither one of us could hold it back, so.
Hi. Thank you so much for what you do. This was an incredibly emotional experience to witness what you contribute. And I want to know if you have your adoption bus here.
We don't have our adoption bus here. It was in Middleburg at the horse show last week, but yeah, it's not here this week.
Well, I'm going to track you down.
Okay.
Questions here?
Hey, I love the film. I'd like to ask, what would you guys say to young people to get them interested and keep this going in the future in order to solve this problem once and for all?
I think, as we preach, spay neuter is the key. You know, that really, it's that simple, which is really frustrating that in 2018 we can't be a better human race to figure out that we need mandatory spay neuter. We have nothing against breeders if you like golden retrievers and you go to a breeder, but if you go to a good breeder, you have to sign your life away. You know, it's the puppy mills that's doing this, you know, the overpopulation. And unfortunately, you know, the Amish in Pennsylvania and Missouri, those are the biggest puppy mill areas, you know. It's very sad. They think of them as livestock, you know, it's very sad. But you know, we're really hoping, we've had some people talk about putting this film in a lot of schools, which I hope it does. You know, because, you know, we always see an influx. We call them our Christmas dogs come, you know, March, April. We see, you know, we get phone call after phone call because mom and dad went and bought the kids a puppy. Well, then the puppy chewed the phone cords and peed on the carpet and chewed the, you know, the rug and this. And then they all dumped the Christmas puppies, you know, usually about, you know, March and April. And it's the same thing with hunting dogs in South Carolina. We pick up so many hound dogs because at the end of hunting season, the hunters don't want to feed them, so they just turn them loose on the roads. And then you see all those skinny hounds running up and down, you know, so we have a lot of hounds right now. But, you know, it's just something you have to do. But, you know, I think the youth of America just has to get on board with this because they're the ones that can really make a change.
One thing that we do, and it wasn't our idea either. A lady in Florida when we're there said, I want to do something because when we're there for the horse show circuit during that season, said all of the events are adult-based and the children have nothing to go to. And she said, I want to have a night that's all about the children and I want it to be all about your rescue. And I want it to be a learning tool for all of these people and their parents. And so we have what we call the lip sync every year. And the first year, Ron was out at Walmart and Home Depot and buying a table, spotlights to try to hang up. It was a pathetic deal. But anyway, it was sadly funny and great. And each year it's grown. And now, it's like tonight, the tickets are sold out. And we've had Gloria Gaynor twice, who called us because kids called her to say, I want to sing your song. Is that okay? Would you donate and help support this? And then we were contacted. And it's just grown and grown. And it's a great big event. And it's a learning tool. Lyle Lovett's come, you know, to support us all at his expense. These are not things we've had to pay for. And now we have people asking to come to it. And it went from about 25 people to 600, as much as we can seat there. And it's a beautiful event. And the kids get up, and different barns have their teams. There's a challenge of the barns. There's individuals. It's 4-year-olds got up and sang from Frozen the entire song by herself. And I thought, oh, this is going to be pretty. And she got up and looked, and it looked like somebody that was going to fall dead. And all of a sudden, she opened her mouth and started singing, and she could feel the audience and the matter. and just went for it. And then each team comes up, and the lady who runs this asks them questions. And they announce to everyone there about how many dogs are euthanized a year and the importance of spaying and neutering and the rescue itself. And it turns out to be a learning tool. And now they have choreographers helping with their dance moves, professional seamstresses, or whatever you call them. The costumes are amazing, and it's a night that's just a fantastic night. And I'd love to see that sort of thing happen for the youth, because they're the ones that are going to change this whole thing. The children of today, our generation is really lax. The next group is sort of there, but those kids coming up are the ones that really want to hear the news and spread it. And that's what I really think is going to change this dilemma we live in.
Ladies and gentlemen, Life in the Doghouse, Ron Danta, Danny Robertshaw. Thank you all for being here with us this evening.
Thank you for having
For every community this film goes to is a call to action. Let's learn what they're doing. Let's do better, and let's stop these atrocities.
Helpful humans.